What are we working on, Dad?
Some old Cyberlights.
Cyberlights. Look how cool this is.
So yeah, these are these are old. These are the old version of them. They actually started making new versions of these a few years ago that are a little cooler looking. They had like yellow lines on them and everything, a little more square.
Cool.
But these are some of the original automated lights from way back in the day. So like when I first started learning how to do these things, I actually went to High-End Systems when they were in Austin, Texas, and learned how to program on these and track spots, and they had some other stuff. They had like IntelliStrobes and stuff like that. I can't remember if that was the name of them. IntelliStrobes.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of some of the products, but like Cyberlights had just, like they were in the prototype phase when I went and did it, because we were looking at the track spots, and then the Cyberlights were the bigger ones right above it, and we had the track spots. So we learned how to use the track spots, and then they showed us the Status Q board, which is this gigantic boat of a lighting control console, which would be pretty cool to actually have one of those for a museum kind of deal, because it was all gray and blue, and yeah, it was awesome.
Cool.
And learned how to hook all the lights up. This was in the day where before, like that Status Q board was like one of the first boards other than Verilight that had their own control board for stuff.
Whoa.
And the Status Q, I think, was speaking DMX, I think, or it was synchronizing all of its own language. So like the track spots had a track spot controller, and they used their own language. They didn't use DMX. They had DMX, but the track spot controller didn't use DMX. It was kind of interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
The way you had to program was crazy. It was super fun, but yeah. So this is a Cyberlight Turbo. This is called the CX Turbo, or the CX Turbo, I think. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open this up and see about changing the power tap, which is right underneath.
And that's what we think is wrong with it?
No, it's not anything wrong with it. There's, who knows what's wrong with it, but I think it's tapped to run on 208 right now, so we're gonna check it out.
Okay. So is that just to change the power inlet?
Yeah.
And why would we want to change the power inlet?
Well, so here in this shop, we only have 240 volt.
Oh, okay.
So it's designed to run on 240 or 230 single phase, or 208, which is also, it's only two hots and a ground. But 208 comes from power that is 3-phase.
Oh.
And that's a whole fun thing to talk about. So this is for a client sports team here in Loveland that we're working with. These are like their old lights they had way back in the day. You know, when they first started, they bought these, which no doubt were like, they were probably cost effectively available. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, these are cheap, and they're big, giant, super bright moving lights. Somebody sold them, so. And as you can tell, look how dirty and nasty these things are. They have been
Needs to be cleaned up.
in the top of a rodeo arena for, gosh, since the beginning of time, since the beginning of when they bought them.
Wow.
They were probably used when they bought them, which no doubt they were. And then they sat in there since, I don't even know how long that sports team's been around.
The Eagles?
Yeah, the Eagles, Colorado Eagles. I don't even know.
I have
They've been
no
around
clue.
for umpteen ever.
I think before I was born.
Yeah, but these lights are older than them. I'm pretty sure they were used when they bought them. Alright, so in theory, that should break that loose. Nope. A couple of Phillips screws. It's been a while since I've worked on Cybers. So when we used to work at DB Production Services, we were always working on the Martin version of these, which was called the 1220.
Okay. What's that?
So it was basically the exact same type of fixture. It was a big, giant, huge 1200 watt, 1300 watt moving mirror fixture.
Is that what this does? Is the mirror moves the light?
Yeah, so this fixture just stays still. All these gobos and everything interchange in between. Cool. So if you look in here, this one has
oh wow, this is
different
really
wheels,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so right here is a color wheel. This one is a gobo wheel.
Okay,
Like
so
no
like
gobos in it. Okay, so that one says Eagles Chicks right there, right?
Eagle.
Yeah, and this one says Eagles. And so this also
Cool.
is a rotating gobo wheel.
Oh, so it can like turn. Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
that
so
one's
then this
cool.
one has a dichroic gobo on it. So these are like glass gobos.
And they're like different shapes.
Yep, and then this one has a prism and some different color filters on it.
Wow.
And then this lens right here moves back and forth for focusing. So all of that stuff. Oh, and then right here, these little things are flags for color mixing. So it would drop these two flags, we'd go, right, right. And it's like a little flag.
So it can make multiple colors just by blending in colors together?
Right.
And
And
then
it was using CMY. So cyan, magenta, and yellow to mix the colors, which is like a print color thing.
Yeah.
So like when you see printing on newspapers or newspapers and magazines and
Yeah.
comic books and stuff, they use CMYK.
That's
so
awesome.
CMY is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black.
Wow. And the mirror just moves everything.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so you can see it has some limitations, right? Because the mirror can't rip around to its behind itself. And so
Yeah.
It has limitations for up and down, right? So that's as far up, as far down, and then all the way over to this side, and all the way over to that side. Which is
Wow.
pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty extensive
Yeah.
reach, but...
That's really cool.
And then the head itself, so like if you had a really weird rigging position, you can actually rotate the head a little bit. So you would undo this screw right here, and the whole head would rotate. So if you just undo that, you can rotate this head. These guys are like super dirty, but...
Oh, so like this whole portion turns.
Yeah, so let's say you had to mount it to a wall, but your stage was over there, and you just was like, oh, I just want to rotate that head around, so you could just rotate it around, I think, 20, 25 degrees, something like that.
That's awesome. So at least you don't have to have it a certain way all the time.
Right.
Look at that.
Gave some flexibility.
You need
Yeah,
this.
oops, so this whole panel comes apart.
You need this pulled off.
Yeah, let's do the, hold on.
Okay.
Let's just do the little quick connection right here.
Yeah, and then there's this one. There's these
two
two.
little quick connections. We'll just pull those guys off.
So did this just pull apart?
Yeah, so these panels are just slip fits. So they'll slip into there and slip out of there.
These can be, I can
Dirty as
clean these if you want.
idiotically crud, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, like, look. That's really dirty. I can help you wipe these down.
Yeah,
Blow them
we'll
off or
see.
something.
We'll see what the problems are first before we
Yeah.
get into it. Okay, so then the power taps. There's going to be a power tap like right in here. And I need to look and see what it's tapping to. Lamp. Okay. I can't really tell. So this one is 208 volt, 60 hertz is where that wire is, so we just need to move the wire over to that one side. So it'll run here in the shop.
Nice. That doesn't seem too difficult.
Right. So we just move this tap over.
And then we'll just put it back before we return it. Want me to hold the flashlight?
Yeah. So it looks like, nope, it's a blade. So then this guy goes in here. I just want to make sure all these screws are tight.
Why? Why does that matter?
You just don't want them loosening up when the thing's running and falling down in there.
Oh, and breaking something?
Yeah.
Hitting a pin? Yeah.
Cool. So if I was smart right now, I'd probably go get the air compressor and blow all this out. So we might just run this over to the door and
Okay.
blow all this out.
It's also 9.
Yeah. Going on.
So yeah, that's the heat shield that's cracked?
Yeah, so that's like probably a heat shield, radiant shield that keeps a lot of the heat back inside of here.
Where the bulb is. Because this is not LED, right?
Correct. This is a giant arc stream. So this thing right here draws 1,300 watts of the whole fixture.
Whoa.
The lamp is a 1,200 watt arc lamp.
Uh-huh.
So it uses a gigantic capacitor starter, which is probably somewhere down inside of there. Oh yeah, no, you can see right below the lamp is the transformer.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And then this is ballast on the back side of right here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then there's a capacitor that lives, I don't remember exactly where it lives. There's a giant capacitor. Oh yeah, it's right down below there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you see that huge capacitor.
Yeah.
So that huge capacitor charges up, and then when it gets up to a specific voltage, the charge is caused to strike. So it'll build up capacitance. I mean, we're talking like if that's going in at 240 volts, it's probably building up capacitance load in that capacitor to probably close to 1200 volts or some stupid thing. And then the voltage just jumps. It like builds it up so much that an arc is created. And these two little points inside the arc stream lamp, they're like this. And when there's enough voltage, the voltage will just jump across the gap. I'm not this big, but like it'll jump across the gap and basically do a big giant voltage arc.
And that's the light?
Yeah, and so
No
that goes,
wonder it gets
wham,
hot.
It drops across there, and then as the capacitor rolls down, that stream goes from a really ragged, nasty, dirty arc into a really nice, crisp, perfected arc because it's sitting inside of a glass tube
So
vacuum.
that thing down there.
Mm-hmm.
That little whoa.
Yeah, and if you look back in there, you can see a bubble, and inside that little bubble it's a vacuum pressured, argon filled, I think. I can't remember what's in an arc stream type lamp like that. But yeah, it's like argon or something in there, and so when that arc goes jump like a welder, then all of a sudden the argon gas, or whatever gas is in there, helps it to stabilize. And then the arc stream off the capacitor kind of regulates it down to where it's supposed to be, and then it just turns super, super idiotically bright. I've actually been sunburned by those bulbs before.
Sunburned?
Yeah, all down my arms and stuff. So when we first, like when Cyberlights would happen, instead of like this right here, notice how it had this lamp was in its own cover.
Yeah.
When you take the Cyberlights off, it would like the whole cover would come off. So you were exposed to this radiation coming out of here. And so when I was trying to put gobos into this thing, I had this thing, the radiation was sitting
It
here
would
blasting
burn
me.
you while you were
It would
working
burn.
on and everything. Whoa.
So I had to weld
this
big old welding gloves and welding mask and all this kind of stuff when I was trying to put gobos in this thing.
and that was with DB, but so this one's nicer than the one you had at DB because it protects the bulb.
Yeah, it had the bulb protection thing so you could work on it at the same time when you had it open. Now, it does have a switch somewhere. Oh yeah. So like down in that little slot right there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This switch was a door switch.
Okay.
So whenever you took the door off, it would cause the lamp to shut down.
That's really nice.
And so did the 1220, but you know, we defeated it because we were cool and we needed to do the so
You were young.
yeah, and we were doing stupid stuff with gobos because the 1220 didn't have rotatable gobos.
Oh, so did you like?
I thought it did. I know I had rotatable gobos, but I don't remember what the situation was of why we had to. I don't remember what the stupid situation was. It was a bunch of dumb situations, but we had to put custom gobos into them. And yeah,
Wow.
for whatever reason, we ended up doing it that way. It was dumb.
Supposed to be that way.
What?
That lens thing.
Oh, that's a frost.
Oh, so it pulls the side so it frosts and
Yeah.
unfrosts.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds like they're here.
There's two of
nice.
these things.
Oh, golly.
Just trying to change the power. It looks like the heat shield on this one's perfectly fine. So that's good.
So you can't really record when this is playing.
I know.
Because Roger Waters will get pissed.
I know.
Roger Waters will be like, what the crap?
What the crap?
There's no fixing Cyberlights with my music in the background.
You need to pay me royalty.
Yeah.
So we finished pulling it all out, and then Dad found the all these cables were just randomly unplugged.
Right? So it's hard to say, who was messing with this? And I think it just take out 4 screws. These 3 over here.
And what are you
And
taking
that
out
one
now?
that's right there,
This piece?
and that whole PCB will just come up
Oh,
and out.
oh yeah. There's pins there, so don't just pull, yeah. Wow, there it goes.
The wires are holding it.
Wow.
Wires, them dadgum wires is holding it.
Need me to do something? No.
Trying to figure out what wires is holding it. Oh yeah.
What words?
The wires. The wires.
Want me to...
Alright, so what we're trying to do here is we're going to put all these back where they go. Whoever the frick took them out, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's pretty a dumb move.
Right?
So what exactly is wrong with these cyber lights?
So for one, this right here was not functioning.
Right.
So like they were like, oh, some of the color pieces are not functioning. Well, yeah, when they're not plugged in, they're not working apparently. Right?
Yeah, that's really weird that it would just be randomly unplugged.
There's always somebody that's like, oh yeah, totally. If this isn't working, then just take this apart and then do this thing and
Yeah.
put that together and you'll be fine.
But like leaving cables unplugged doesn't make any sense for fixing something, in my opinion.
Yeah, it just means that somebody wasn't paying attention to the things that they were doing.
So then, for this one, this is not the one with the shattered heat shield.
Right.
So would
It's got a
this
cracked
just...
heat shield, though.
Well, I was looking at the other one, and it looks like it's split down the center on the other one, too. So I don't know if that's just a manufacturing thing.
Yeah, maybe that was like a heat position that allowed it to flex a little bit
Yeah.
in the heat.
But the other one, because it has that same seam, and then it's just cracked on one side of it.
Yeah, but the chunk was cracked out of it.
Yeah, I don't even know where it went on the other one.
Okay.
Get back together.
I can see how a fella could derive a whole lot of pleasure and satisfaction about it. Screwing it back together.
It is kind of nice, because you like, I saw it apart, now I see it together. Now it works, too.
It works, dude.
Gotta sound like a redneck.
Jacking up cyber lights.
I swear, you could be a voice actor, Dad. It'd help if I could screw this in straight. My golly.
They'd need me on all their little southern, crazy, weird Oh Brother Where Art Thou type movies.
Yes! Oh my gosh, yes. I can't get that one in. Let's go over here. Doesn't work there, try a different place. That's how I always work, I guess.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Crooked. Crooked.
Guess your screw is going to be crooked.
Is it meant to be?
No, it'll straighten out.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you do that, because... Oh, yeah, it's the doors on it.
They're all closed.
Because it's that little latch thingy.
Right. So this little piece of door goes down in there.
And tells it that the bulb is okay to be on.
Struck.
Struck.
So there's a ton of light fixtures on the market that still use huge lamps like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like BMFLs.
Okay.
So those are huge lights we just use down in Florida at that gig
Gaylord.
at the Gaylord. We used a bunch of BMFLs. They're huge fixtures, weigh probably about the same amount as this thing. And they did the same thing, so...
Oh, and you had to hang those on truss, right?
Right.
Hung those.
Hung them. We done hung them.
So is this going to be like blinding bright?
I'm not going to strike a lamp.
Oh, okay.
Off your fan cable. Reset.
Ooh, it's windy right there. Is that what it's supposed to sound like?
Yeah, it's funny. All high-end fixtures sound like old guys.
That fan beer. I don't know, this is stressing me
It's
out.
funny, like high-end lights and everybody, they always sound like old guys.
This is cool. How do you know that the color is gonna work if you don't turn on the bulb?
So the frosting's moved out of the way. We're not necessarily going to know yet until I actually fire up my computer, get it hooked up to DMX, and...
Oh yeah, because you have to tell it to do something.
Right.
That makes sense.
So high-end fixtures too also go into shutdown standby mode when they don't get DMX. So here in a couple minutes, these things just should go just standby because it doesn't have any DMX. I was also hoping to see this mirror come around, but
it kind of did a few like bumpy movements. Right now or something?
Well, so one of these mirrors, because they used to have them hanging in the bud center inverted or like flat, pointing down, like kind of like they were sitting on the boxes originally.
Yeah.
And one of them has a mirror that falls. So like the mirror's tensioner isn't working right, so it just kind of goes.
It just
rotates around. It's not like it falls out. It
just, but like
it won't hold its position, so then it just like it just slips.
So then they can't use it.
Right. So what that is that's that little tensioner screw right there. There's a tensioner screw here, and there's a tensioner screw on the other bottom part of this. But this tensioner screw is the one that causes the most problems with
mirrors.
The mirror not being able to hold sideways and just kind of rotating down. So this one feels like it's holding.
Yeah, because it's a bit stiffer.
Yeah, I mean, we can move it all the way over, and then there's a tensioner right there.
Oh,
Same
I see.
type of tensioner.
Yeah.
And that one holds it this way. So, power it off, power it back on.
See if it moves.
Yeah, see how that...
Well, that's so weird.
See how the frost dropped in? There's only one frost.
It started popping back and forth with that thingy, which is supposed to be a frost.
So what that is it gets to a stop position. It runs for a certain period until it gets to its stop position. And then it boom, 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 bumps up against the stop position because that's the stepper motor. So it bumps a couple of steps, and then it holds and waits.
Basically recognizes that's
once the reset is done, yeah, it opens that up.
Wow. Oh, and then the mirror moves a little.
Yeah, and they go back to their kind of ready mode, ready standby position.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool. Alright, so Dad's got DMX connected to it. It just booted itself back on because it realized that it has connection. So now it's doing its reset thingy. The mirrors and everything. So why do you have to connect it to DMX?
So we're going to run through and test it. See if it works.
Okay, to see if the colors are... Does that mean it's turning on the lamp?
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, it probably already did because it's got DMX. So you can see that purple glow right there.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So you can see the indicator LEDs on the front end of it.
Mm-hmm. Motor, lamp, fan. Cool.
Okay, so on the door, or on the butt end of that one, it says something like, "Let's get fixture." I'm going to go to...
That's pretty cool.
And... is 20 channels.
Wow.
Standard version is 20 channels as well.
Mm-hmm. So modifying everything and having to figure it out is the fun part?
Right. So the lamp had shut itself off. That's one of the reasons why everybody likes these so much, is because they have auto lamp on, auto lamp off feature, which is always a really cool feature.
So it doesn't overheat.
So now the mirror should bounce around to the front.
Like that.
Well, kind of like that.
What's interesting?
It's going by fixture address, fixture number.
So it needs to have...
So this reminds me, it's a dumb old fixture. Okay. It's a ridiculously old fixture. So, new fixtures use start address channels, new DMX start address, and then you go in and code out that. So that's where I had that DMX diff switch calculator. Well, high-end systems of this age, they use fixture number. So it has specific numbers in DMX that it's going to be. It will not address to like 25 or 52 or anything like that. It won't.
So it has to be specific.
So it has to be specific. So in this particular case, diff switch 3 on sets it to fixture 5.
So in...
And so in hexadecimal code, if you have 3, that's not even right either.
So where do you find that then?
It's on the address. So here's where we'll go back and I'll go, okay. So we're turning all of these guys off. Turning this guy off.
Golly, those are switches?
This guy off. And we're going 1, 2, 3. And we're turning 3 on. And I think... The next step for me is really kind of saying, you know, I think each one needs a series of repairs. I'm going to come up with a number, see what they want to do with it, and go from there.
Nice.